Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will learn how to update or edit data using SQLite database. This is part 3 of Notes app. So in part 1 and part 2, we have stored and retrieved the notes using SQLite database. So if you have not watched it yet, you can click on the I button to watch. Let me give you a quick recap what exactly we created in the last video. So I'll click on Add Note. Then I'll write title and content quickly. Now I'll click on Save. And see, the toast says Note saved. And also, as you can see, Note is displayed with title and content. But there is no edit option, right? Because we have not yet implemented it. And that's what we are going to do in this video. Now open the project. Previously, to store and retrieve the notes, we have created Note data class, Notes adapter, Notes database helper, add note activity, and main activity. And now in this video, we will create an update activity. Got it? So let's create it. For the prerequisite, we need a edit icon. So let me quickly add it. And done. Then next, as we are implementing update feature, so we will need an update activity as well. So let me quickly create it. And done. Now prerequisites are over, so let's move to designing part. First, go to NotesAdapter.kt. Previously, we have used note item layout for displaying the notes in a recycler view. So when notes are displayed, it should be displayed with title and content and edit option. Title and content is already there. Only edit option is not yet implemented. So now we will create an edit option as an image view. Okay? Hence, below the title text view, let me quickly create it. And done. See, we have an image view whose ID is update button with an edit icon. Now, when the user will click on edit icon, it will lead him to update activity, right? So let's design activity update node.xml. The design will be same as add node activity with different IDs. So let me copy it. And now paste it here. Then simply change the context. Then text view ID as edit note heading. And text as edit note. Then next change image view ID as update save button. Then change edit text ID as update title edit text. And then lastly change the next edit text ID as update content edit text. Also, make sure to change the respective IDs as well. And that's it. This is how it looks. Now it's time for logic. So first go to Notes Adapter. Here all we have to do is set intent on update button and pass the ID. That's it. So first I'll declare and initialize it. And done. Now once we have initialized the button, then set on click listener on it. So I'll write holder dot update button dot set on click listener. Then inside it, let me quickly create an intent. And then now see, update button and all of this thing are present in note item, right? So to access it, we have used holder item view context. So when the user will click on edit option, it will lead him to update activity. Usually we write create intent and then start activity. But here we have used apply because we want to pass ID from this to update activity. Hence I have wrote put extra that passes note.id. Consider you wanted to send title, so you would have passed note.title like that way. Got it? Note underscore ID is like a key value. With the help of it, we will receive the ID in the update activity. But why are we passing ID? Because as we want to edit the data, we should know which data it is, right? Like ID will help to determine the position of note clicked by user. Then simply start the intent. And that's it. Now come to Notes Database Helper. Here we will create update note function and get note by ID function. Okay. So let's create it one by one. First, let me quickly create update note function. And then, now see, I have passed note data class as note variable. Then inside it, as we will edit the note, so it should be writable database. Then content values class is used to store column that can be inserted or updated in the database. Then inside apply block, we have used put method which basically add values such as title and content into their respective columns. Next line defines the SQL where clause. It's a variable that will be used to identify the rows to be updated by its column ID. Then where arguments initialize an array containing the arguments, that is note ID. And then using update data method, so first name of the table in which the data should occur, then values which consist of columns that needs to be updated, then next where clause which determines which row to update, and then where arguments which will act as a substitute into the where clause. Then finally close the database connection. Now next we will create getNodeById function. So let me quickly create it. And then see, as at the end we want to return node ID. So I have kept node ID as a parameter. As we just want to retrieve the data, so we'll keep the database as readable database. Then this line defines an SQL query. Select star from table name where column ID is equal to node ID. So basically it selects all the columns from a table where the value, that is column ID, should match with the provided node ID. Then execute the query using raw query method and store the result in the cursor variable. And then cursor.move to first moves the cursor to the first row of the result. Then ID, title, content, all of these things are extracted from their respective column with the help of cursor. And then close the cursor as well as database connection. And finally return the node data class with its respective argument, that is ID, title and content. And that's it. Now go to update activity. I'll rename it as update node activity. And make sure to rebuild project when you rename something, otherwise you will face unnecessary errors. First, let me quickly set up binding. And done. Then declare and initialize Notes Database Helper. And done. Next, I'll declare Note ID as int is equal to -1. So -1 or negative integer is the ID which represents that the value is empty. So we will require it to deal with null values. Then remember, through intent we have sent ID from adapter to update note activity. So let's receive it. Let me quickly write it. And done. See, with the help of put extra, we have passed the data. Now with the help of getIntExtra, we will receive the data. As id is an integer, hence we have used getIntExtra. If it will have been string, then in that case we will use getStringExtra. Okay. Now as I said, note_id will act as a key. So make sure you write exact value, otherwise it will throw a error. Then we have kept the default value as -1. Means if due to some technical issue id was failed to pass, then in that case it will return a default value as -1. Means nothing. And if noteID is equal to -1 means no value is received, so close the current activity using finish method and return nothing. Got it? Next, we need to know which note was clicked, and accordingly to that note display title and content. So for that we will require getNoteById function, right? And from where we will get that function? Through NotesDatabaseHelper, right? Because that's where we created getNoteById function, right? So I'll write note is equal to db.getNoteById as note id, which we have received through getIntExtra. Then as I said, according to that id, we will retrieve title and content as well. So let me quickly write it. And then, see, consider maybe you receive the id as 2. So id number 2 title will be retrieved and id number 2 content will be retrieved. Simple, right? Now user will edit it and click on update button. Then what will happen? Don't go logically, just answer it simply. I'll tell. So if the user will click on update button, then whatever the new title and new content that user has wrote will be set on title and content text view, right? And now we will have same note id, new title and new content. And all of this thing will be updated in the database using UpdateNote function, which we created in Notes Database Helper. And that's it. Let me quickly write it. And done. See, it will take update title edit text and store it in new title variable. Similarly, whatever is written on update content edit text, that will be stored in a new content variable. Now everything will be passed as an argument. Note id, new title and new content. And it will be stored in a updated note variable. Then using update note function from Notes Database Helper, we will update new data in the database. Then finish method will close the current activity and open main activity. Lastly, it will throw a toast as changes saved. And that's it. We are done with the coding. And now let's run the app. Alright, the app got crashed, unfortunately. Let's solve this error together. The first thing that we need to check is logcat. So in logcat, more specifically, look out for an entire sentence error. Maybe like this one. It says, item view update save button must not be null. Second thing, we need to see where exactly we have used this line of code. As I remember, it's in Notes Adapter. Let's see. Here it is. Now see, as it says, it is null, means two situations. Either it is not initialized or different ID is assigned. So in our case, ID is initialized properly, but we have used wrong ID. Silly mistake, I know. See, update save button is a part of update note activity XML, and we wanted it to be an update button of note item. Look, here it is. So let's quickly correct it. And done. Also, you might be wondering, if I have renamed the file as update note activity, then why is it showing activity update binding instead of activity update note binding? Because we have not changed the value of XML file. So I'll rename XML file as well. And then see, it shows a error. Now I'll write here is activity update note binding. Perfect. So now let's run the app again. See, this is how it looks. We have an edit option on each node. So maybe I'll edit this node and consider its node ID as 2. Now see internally how the logic is working. So quickly it passes the ID as 2 and instantly it retrieves the ID number 2, title and content, and then display it here. Now I'll edit it. So it will take both the new title and content with them. And now I'll click on update button and see how quickly the new title and new content is set on the title text view and content text view. Simple, right? Alright, so don't forget to watch the next video where I'll be deleting the node from the database. And also for more updates, you can follow us on Instagram or join our Telegram group. Link in the description box. So yeah, that is it for the video. If you are new to this channel, then please consider subscribing to my channel and I'll see you in the next video.